2 meals out of 1. There's a squirrel right there. This could be meal number 3. So today and tomorrow, I'm gonna be doing some small game hunting, and I'm gonna be doing it with some high tech, some low tech, and some no tech gear. My elk tag is just a couple weeks out and I'm getting a little bit antsy. So I'd like to get some practice in with a bow, as well as I would like to get out in the bush right before the snow starts falling. And for my high tech piece of gear, I'm gonna be hunting on the birch growler hunting e-bike. It gets me from A to B. It is battery operated. More importantly, this battery will last me a couple days as long as I don't ride this thing like a dirt bike. This is my high-tech piece of gear. An Osage 36-inch bow. Draws about 65 pounds. I've got a whole bunch of arrows, friction fire set, some rock salt. This is my no-tech gear. For my low-tech gear, I got 1 bedroll. I've got an anorak, a wool blanket. I got an anorak, a wool blanket, my poncho, and then the schmog. A steel knife, I know, I said it, a steel knife, and my metal water bottle. I love hunting small game. I like hunting the rabbits. They're one of my favorite meals, along with marmot. But we are out of season for marmot, so I'm gonna be focusing mostly on some of these pine squirrels, hopefully some rabbits, along some of the willow and kind of exposed areas. Bottom line, any time in the bush is the best time in the bush. Hit the road and see what we can come up with. So I've got the bike parked. I kind of saw this down log. This place maybe just kind of pop a squat, sit and wait, see what I can hear. I always find like hunting for little pine squirrels is kind of, I conduct that sills, that sit, look, listen, smell. You know, with no wind moving, I mean, you can kind of see all these branches are pretty stationary. If I start seeing branches bobbing up and down, start hearing some chirps, I know there's likely a squirrel somewhere up in that tree. If I can get it low enough, I can definitely get a shot. I missed that one. That one kind of caught me off guard. He was right in that tree. I just heard a little scratch on the bark. Yeah, I just missed. I missed his head by like probably, God, maybe like 2 centimeters. They're small. They're hard to hit, but I'm gonna see if I can find that arrow. That arrow's probably gone. Can you hear him? I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get that little guy. He's in this little clump of trees right here. He'll start chirping a little bit, but I think I'm gonna jump back on the bike and get some more terrain and then park it and like go on a hunt. I mean, the bike is getting me in some good places. It's getting me there quickly, which is nice. I'll find an area and then just hunt that area, maybe move to another, depending on what's there. So back to the bike. Checking some of these areas for any sign of rabbits, little game trails, little runs. A lot of the rabbits will hang in all this willow right on the edges, come out and catch some sun, but they'll have a quick retreat into the willow. And a lot of the pine squirrels will be up in these trees you kind of see behind me. Hunt the edges of where all this dried up water was. I think today will be good. The sun's out. It's a beautiful day. Let's keep moving. tree. It's such a small bow to shoot with a GoPro on, but let's see what we can come up with. He's up there, right in that thicket, but he was originally sitting right down here. I pulled over there, I heard it, and he was sitting right up in there. I gotta get quicker. I'm not used to hunting on an e-bike, so I need to kind of figure out that best practice. Definitely having the bow strong, and it's a learning curve. We'll keep going. The hardest thing is if you're shooting squirrels with an arrow and you miss and that arrow goes through the tree, through the branches, I mean, it's long gone. That's why I pack a bunch, because there is a process to parking the bike, getting off the bike, getting the bow out, walking in if I see something. I'll figure it out. I think this might be a good area to hunt. As I'm looking at it and kind of see where that sun kind of glare is. That's an open area with some high pines. This looks like an aspen glen, grove kind of going that way. And then I see a lot of pines up here. And I kind of took this kind of little trail off of the main, well, I guess that'd be a secondary. So there's a main road and then I took a secondary road. That's where I came across that first squirrel. But I like this area. I was able to get the bike into it. More importantly, I've got multiple kind of regions or zones that I can hunt. It's all squirrel midden. It's all chewed up pine cones at the bottom. Might be something up in there, or a little nest. It's a sign. When I'm looking for them, and there's no wind, I look for branches bobbing up and down. It means little squirrels out on the limb, kind of moving that branch. I listen for the little claw marks on a lot of this pine. It makes a real scratchy sound. And then I listen for their little warning sign, that little chirp, 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 chirp. Just gives me indications where they are and move in for a shot. Just need to shoot them low. If I shoot them low, it's easier to get my arrows if I miss. If I shoot them high, goodbye arrow. I will say it is a whole heck of a lot easier moving through the bush, thick bush, with a smaller bow. I just heard one coming from the trees up over there. Hear it? Okay, I think I see the tree. Let's go. But you'll hear a squirrel over that direction. You'll start to make your way that direction. And then when you get over there, you don't hear anything. And you'll hear a squirrel from the direction that you came. Sometimes you'll play this back and forth. Ultimately, just kind of sit and listen and wait. And hear it, and then try to visually see it so that I can lock onto the tree. I know it sounds like I'm hunting some sort of elusive creature, but squirrels can be a little bit tricky, especially when they're 30, 40 feet up, the size of an orange when they're kind of sitting in the crotch of a tree. It's half the fun. All right, I'm gonna find a log, and I'm gonna sit and listen. Okay, got about 3 or 4 hours left of sunlight, so I need to get a little place to camp for the night. I'm gonna get a little fire going, continue to hunt, but at least get some coals in the event that I get some squirrels. This evening is probably gonna drop below freezing. So on the bird scroller, it has a little onboard computer. It tells you how fast you're going, what gears, what motors, everything. Right up here in this corner is your battery. And I know with it dropping below freezing tonight, it's gonna drain some off the battery. I need at least like 40% to get back. So if I stay and I hunt here, awesome. Tomorrow morning, when usually there's a lot more activity along with the afternoon, I can try a different area, go like another 30% out actively hunting, and then have 40% to get me back. Kind of have to do some math when you're out here. is maybe use some of these aspen leaves that are all over. I saw a crap ton back that way when I was hunting. I might gather some of those up, put those in my patoo as just a little ground mat to lay on, have a little fire, and that should get me through the night. Yeah, I could probably use that hole again. Let's put a couple little... Even though I have a steel knife, I'm still using my little stone blade. Little trick, you can take a little bit of dry sand, put it right into that little burn for your spindle. Gives it just a little bit of friction. Coal. Finger on the board. Roll it away. The monstrosity of a tinner funnel. So the idea will be to have a little coal base, establish my bedding for the night, and then go out and hunt. At least if I take a squirrel or a rabbit, I don't have to come back here in a hurry and try to get everything done. Not that it takes me a long time to make a fire, but it's just one of those things. So, throw firewood there. My patoo will be essentially my bed for the night. Bedding. What do I want to do? We got short grass. We could do some aspen leaves. They're nice and dry. They've been sitting in the sun, so not worried about scooping up wet ones or rotten ones. It's not morning, so there's no frost, no dew. do want to point out that it doesn't seem like a lot of leaves, but if I use my patoo, the biggest thing first, to collect a bunch of leaves, I can then go collect some more in my schmog. So that's what I'm going to do, but I have a little base layer. I feel good. It's cold with rayon. I'm going to put my hoodie back on, put one more big log on the fire, grab my bow, get some squirrels. I just heard something big moving through the trees off to my left. You are right. It's probably a big elk. There's a bunch through here. Just watch the branches, big bobbing ones. There's 2 squirrels. They were fighting right over there. I'm gonna see if I can get a shot. Put that arrow, man, right through his chest. These are those pine squirrels. Man, they were just fighting. All right, let's bring him back. Let's cook him. Let's eat him. Everything's said and done. It's just squirrel minus the head. So there's the tail, and then there's the hide that I'll probably wind up squaring it out and making a little something out of it. I went off to that tree over there, cleaned the squirrel. I put a cut right down its midsection, and I started to work my fingers the whole way around to where I could put my fingers through the back of the hide. Chopped off all of its paws, and then just basically pulled its legs out from its hide, pulled its front shoulders out of its hide, chopped its head off, and then I went ahead and gutted it. Important to remember, even animals that are in the wild like this, especially some of these ones that are up in upper elevations, I still check out their heart, their liver, their kidneys, their lungs. I just do a quick inspection. I don't want to make sure that they're got any spots on them, there's any sort of weird bruising, any sort of discoloration. I just give a quick once over, make sure it's good to go. This squirrel right here, no issues, and yeah, it's food. These are really best, in a crock pot, low and slow, but I do like them roasted over the fire. There's some decent meat on there. I mean, think of it like a buffalo wing. So I've got about that much water left. I'm gonna do one big mouthful. That's it for the day. And then one of my favorite little bush treats is eating the squirrel, munching on all the meat, and throwing the bones, the spine, the shoulders, everything that remains inside my water bottle, boiling it. So when the morning comes around, I have a nice little brothy, meaty, bone marrowy little liquid drink in here. That's great to kickstart the day. One, it's gonna keep me hydrated, but I really get to extract all the nutrients from that animal, especially on something like a small squirrel. One more. It's gonna be good. Most people don't like it, but I mean, it's a warm meal in the morning to get you going. I think there's one up over that way. It was too high up in a tree. I was just gonna lose an arrow, but it was worth a go. I think I'm gonna do this little ridge line over here. There's a big elk bugling down that way. Awesome. Oh yeah. Let's put that for the bones. That goes bloop, into the pot. like all those little ligaments and stuff. You know, after you pick through, you pull off your meat, you just kind of into the pot. Even though something might be a little charred, as my wife says, it's just flavor. If you kind of take a look, you can see the remnants in the amount of water. So that right there is my morning brew. Let's see, it's gonna be super cold tonight, so I probably don't need to boil it now. Sitting in water, we'll call that, it's tenderizing. Lid goes on, there. Good meal. Good meal. Let's get some more firewood. Should be good for the evening. So we are sitting at 71%. I was at 100 today. That means I used 29% of the battery riding around today. I mean, if I was going to use this bike, let's say for a week, because the longest I've used it for was 3 days in the mountains, and that was just, you know, kind of like primitive camping. I bet if I actually pedaled it instead of just worked the throttle like a dirt bike, I could probably get a couple more days out of it. Total of 40 miles is what I rode today. I guess 40 miles, God, I suck at math. How do I do this? Let's just say if I go 40 miles a day, I'll use about 30% of the battery. So that means 30, 60, 90. That's 3 days. That's 40, 80, 120 miles. I think that's pretty good. I have to say, I'm enjoying birch growler hunting e-bike. I mean, big tires has got me through some rough terrain. It's great on the open roads, the dirt roads. My next test will definitely be in the snow. I think I'm gonna bring a goose hunting where I don't have to carry out all of my decoys. I can just drag them in a sled behind it. I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed at all. I do like walking. Don't get me wrong. I love walking. But I think to do what I was doing today, where I was looking for squirrels and looking for roads, looking for anything kind of quick, it gave me that ability to do just that, do things quickly. Okay, lights are going out. I'm done running my mouth for a while. I'm gonna check back in right before it gets really cold. I'm gonna keep the fire kind of just slowly eating the wood that I have, because I have a good amount that should get me through the night. More importantly, I've got breakfast in the morning. I think the real challenge begins staying warm all night, but I've got my anorak on. It's nice and long. It's made of wool. I should be good to go. I know you all heard that. I walked to the top of this little ridge. The elk are just bugling away. I think I'm gonna go down by the fire. That's camped down there. It was definitely cold last night. It was around like 2 o'clock. I woke up maybe 2:30 and broke some more firewood and kind of got the fire going. I fell asleep pretty early and didn't really need the fire till about 2 o'clock, 2:30. So I'm gonna go put some more wood on the fire and then start heating up my squirrel broth. It's frozen. That's right. Fortunately, it will melt. While this is boiling, I'm gonna get my bedroll situated. I'm gonna keep this on for the morning ride. because it will be chilly, especially with the cold temps. Let's see what happened to the battery, how much we lost overnight. That's not bad. We lost 1%. Oh, 69%. So we lost 2% with it showing 69. So I guess you could say, depending on temps, if you were out every night you're out, if it was dropping below freezing, maybe at 40 degrees, I don't know, you might lose 1 to 2%. So you factor that in over a couple days, 40 miles a day, looking at 30%, 40, 80, 120, 30, 60, 90. Yeah, I mean, you definitely go on a 3-day adventure and work this thing like a dirt bike. I think I'm gonna ride around and try to find another little area like this that I can hunt from. Be strong, little stick. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. To get a little salt in there. Don't even need a blade. Just rub 2 pieces together, just like that. And you can see it. Yummy, yummy. Little piece of meat, some bone. That's good. Kind of sifting through it and kind of scooping. Just make sure that you're not eating the bones. Two meals out of one. There's a squirrel right there. This could be meal number 3. Put the squirrel in my little makeshift cooler. And then I can wrap him up. I could probably get 3 or 4 in there. Just saw his little tail move. He's isolated on that tree. Man, that's gonna be might be a hard shot, but we'll see. See him up there? Oh, he's coming down. He's coming down. He's up there. It's kind of nice because he's isolated. He could jump to that tree, but that might be a far jump to get to that 3rd one. If I had like a rifle, like a 22 or a small little shotgun, this would be a different story. But I guess that's kind of the challenge. See if you can get him with a bow. You can see the smoke from camp down there. I think I'm gonna pack up, and probably roll out. All right, everyone. I might go back here and hunt this area for a little bit, but I think I'm calling it. I've got one squirrel in my water bottle. I've eaten one. It was definitely a fun adventure getting around on the birch griller e-bike. Without a doubt, it got me from A to B much quicker than walking. It was fun to camp next to it. It felt like I was almost like car camping in a way, but I wasn't able to use the car. Even though I didn't pack out with 5 squirrels, which would have been my limit. I ate one for a great meal last night. Was able to have a nice little squirrel soup this morning, and I got one more before I head out. I'm gonna head in here, see if maybe I can grab one more. Thank you so much for following these adventures. I know I do things a little bit differently, but hey, it's better to be who I am than who I'm not. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the bush.